Hey friends, welcome back to my channel, and for those of you who are new here, hi, I'm Amy and this is Thrift Adventure. Today I'll be doing a ship with me video. In these videos I go day to day and I share the different items that I'm shipping out. I talk about how much they sold for, what I paid for them, and what my profit is. So you want to be sure to watch all the way to the end because I always have interesting and unique items, and hopefully you can learn some new things to keep your eyes out for when you're out thrifting. So I'm super excited. It is the day after Christmas and I had a really wonderful sales weekend. I'm a little surprised, but also not surprised. I feel like this time of year people get, cash as gifts, and then they treat themselves to some things that they had been wanting during the year. So I always find this week after Christmas and January to be great sales times for me. Okay, let's get started. So the first item sold on Poshmark, and it is this men's brown leather belt. It is by Martin Dingman, which is a higher end brand. However, it had some kind of distressing and wear throughout the belt. I got an offer for $40 on this, so I decided to go ahead and accept it. Actually, you can see there, it has quite a bit of wear. I have sold this brand for more in the past, but it was in better condition. So I am also, this time of year, I am motivated to sell items so that I have more money to purchase new items and, kind of turn and burn things. I had paid about $4 for this at a thrift store. So after posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $28. For my belts, I use the small flat rate box or the 1096L box. And that box is just slightly wider and larger than the small flat rate box. So for thinner belts like this, I use the small flat rate box. And then for a wide belt, I'll use the other one. And they fit just perfectly in there. So I think that is a great option for belts. Okay, the next sale is very exciting. So this is a vintage real gold necklace. It has this really cute little lion head door knocker pendant on it. This sold for, I don't know if you can hear that, there's a plane flying over. This sold for $505. Now it did, oh wow, it's really loud. It did take quite some time to sell. I think a year and a half, possibly 2 years, but I only paid $8 for this at an estate sale. So it doesn't take up any space. I was just really willing to wait for the right buyer to come along and pay the price that I was looking to get for this. It was a nice heavy weight, and I felt like that little door knocker charm was really cute, and I thought it just was a special piece, so I was willing to wait. So it sold for $505. I paid $8 after posh fees and my cost of goods. That made my profit $396. You guys who watch my videos know that I absolutely love a big profit. Who doesn't? I would much rather list one item and make that profit than list 30 items and make that profit. I do understand though that we can't find items like this every day, and I am quite fortunate in my area. I totally recognize that, that I am able to find really great unique things. And there is quite a bit of competition, but probably not as much as in the bigger cities because I live in a smaller town. So that was over $500, so it will go to Poshmark first to be verified and authenticated. That's one of the reasons I love selling on Poshmark, because I feel like that just gives both me and the buyer an added layer of protection. So the buyer can't say I didn't get the right thing or it's not what you said. I just feel like it reduces the potential for being scammed. I don't know if that's true, but that's how I feel. So I like to sell those higher dollar items on Poshmark. And I have sold a lot of higher dollar items and have yet to have an issue. I know, you know, that people do, but okay. The next item that sold is this really cute pair of vintage rhinestone earrings. And I liked how these kind of had the arrow design, and they had just kind of a more modern styling to them, in my opinion. I would guess that these are probably from the 50s or 60s. They could be a little bit newer because they're pierced, but they ended up selling for $25. Most rhinestone items that don't have a brand name, I don't get really big money for, but if I can pick them up at an estate sale or a yard sale for, say, under $3, then I will pick them up. So these sold for $25. I paid $1. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $19. So I do like to list and relist my rhinestone and sparkly costume jewelry, you know, in December, so that if people are looking for jewelry to wear to a holiday party or for New Year's Eve, that, you know, they're in the newly listed section. And I tend to sell more of this type of jewelry in fourth quarter in general. Oops, that's not the right one. Oh well. Okay, so moving on, I do have some more Poshmark sales, but I had a few really great Cherish sales. So it is cherish.com. I really love selling on Cherish, and you will see why. If you are interested in giving it a try, I would really recommend that you read the seller's guide. I have that linked in the description box below. It's not an affiliate link or anything. It is just, I just think it's really important that you educate yourself on how the site works before you start selling. Okay, so the first item is this really cute little dog figurine, and this was just marked Japan on the bottom. This ended up selling for $61. So let's see, I had a $3 packaging fee and I had it listed for $58. So for a total of $61. Some of these little figurines can be collectible. This one was hand painted. I had paid $3 for this. So after Cherish's fee and my cost of goods, that made my profit $45.02. Cherish has a 22% seller's fee unless you have 10 items, less than 10 items listed. And if you have less than 10 items, it's 40% fee. So that's one of the reasons I really want you guys to check out the info on Cherish before you start selling, because there is some different things to know about before you sell on there. This was another really great sale. This was a set of 10 of these Mikasa crystal goblets. They are super heavy, beautiful, like faceted quality. And I've mentioned this before, but one way that you can tell the difference between crystal and glass is the way it sounds when you tap it. So crystal will make a ringing or a singing noise. You hear how it kind of carries on, where glass won't. It'll just kind of be like tink. So that's one way that I will, you know, kind of test at the thrift store if I see these. So like I said, there was a set of 10 of these at the Goodwill and no one bought them, and they went to half off day. So I ended up paying $2 a piece, so a total of $20. These sold for $197 plus a $15 packaging fee. And I apologize to all of you who've heard this over and over again, but on Cherish, you can charge a packaging fee, which is in addition to the shipping cost, and the buyer pays both of those. A lot of people ask about the shipping cost being higher on Cherish, and people still pay it. So I don't worry about it. I try and list items that are going to sell for higher dollar amounts, and I'm really targeting a wealthy buyer or an interior designer. Okay, so these sold for $212. I paid $20. So after Cherish's fee and my cost of goods, that made my profit $148.66. Another really great sale. And then the next item is this vintage Itala. I think that's how you pronounce it. It is a Finnish brand from Finland. and it has this kind of cool icicle look to it. You can kind of see on the bottom. This is kind of in the mid-century style, which I like, so I pick this up whenever I see it. This sold for $95. I paid $8 for this at an estate sale. So after Cherish's fee and my cost of goods, my profit was $68.42. So just like on Poshmark or any other site, it is really important that you use applicable keywords in your listings on Cherish. So, you know, for example, I use mid-century, 1960s. I used Google Lens to look up the pattern name for this line. And that's also how I discovered what these were, because I don't believe these were marked Mikasa, but I was able to find that, and then the style name. Okay, so I'm gonna package all of these up off camera, so I'm gonna move them out of the way, because I really do not want to knock over a $200 set of glasses. Oh, so for those of you who watch from week to week, I mentioned last week that I mixed up 2 labels on Cherish, and I sent buyers the wrong items, which I think I've only done one other time, and it's just so upsetting, especially at Christmas time. One of the buyers got really disgruntled, and so I just decided to give her a full refund. I have not got the item back yet. The other buyer, Cherish, has not been able to contact them, so I ended up losing. My profit would have been, I think, about $60 on that, so I ended up losing $60, but I made an error. The buyer was upset. I didn't feel like it was going to be resolved anytime soon, so I just decided that it was the right thing to do to refund that buyer, and she seemed happy. So okay, a couple more Poshmark sales, and the next item is this really gorgeous dress by Odd Molly, and this is 100% silk. It's just a stunning piece. It has beading on the front. I really had higher hopes for this piece. The print is also gorgeous. It has butterflies and feathers and flowers. But I had it listed for a while with no bites. I think I had it listed for $69 to begin with. And I'm going to package this up off camera. So this is, I'll also let you know. So Odd Molly has a pretty high, or can have a pretty high retail, but this ended up selling for $40, which really isn't terrible, but for a beaded silk dress, I just was really hoping to get more than that. I paid $6 for it, so after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $26. That's just fine. Okay, the next item that sold, if you watched my Thriftmas week, you would have seen this in that video. It is a Christian Blake full-length maxi coat. This was a women's size 14, and it is 100% wool. It is just a beautiful quality coat. And if you guys are following other fashion influencers in the US or in Europe, these maxi coats, even with this kind of vintage, you know, oversized or architectural shoulder, are very trendy right now. All of the high-end designers are making this style again. So that is how I base what vintage items I buy, is based on what the designers are making now that is inspired by vintage fashions. So this wasn't a huge sale, but it was pretty great. It was $70. I had got this at a fill the bag sale, yes, and my average cost of goods I think was only $1, or no, it was 50 cents for this one, 55 cents. So what a steal. When I get a dry clean only item, if it does not have spots or stains, I do not dry clean it. I do give it a very thorough steaming though, because steaming will take out the wrinkles, of course, and it kills germs. So I will steam it inside and out. And I haven't had a complaint about that. And you know, if it were a higher dollar item, I may consider having it dry cleaned, but it is just so expensive to get things dry cleaned these days that it is just cost prohibitive to do it. Okay, so it sold for $70. My cost of goods was less than $1, so that made my profit $55. That sold quite quickly. It's also bulky, so I'm going to package it up off camera. Okay, and the next item is just this kind of fun fringe vest. It kind of has a suede look to it, but it is not actually suede. It is by Montana West, and this also sold pretty quickly. I think that I could have gotten a little bit more for this, but I had reduced the price on all of my coats for closet clear out. And then I still had my Posher VA set to send out 10% off with discounted shipping to all new likers. So I had reduced this, and then the buyer got that 10% off with discounted shipping, so it sold for $22. It's fine, you know, it's not a super special, unique piece, one of a kind or anything like that, so it's just fine to, you know, kind of turn it and burn it. I had paid $2 for this. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $13.58. And sometimes, you know, when I am picking up items at fill the bag sales, I will pick up more kind of bread and butter type items that won't have a super high sales price, just to bring my average cost of goods down, and it has served me well. So okay, so the next item, this is a clue to list your death pile items, or money pile items as I like to call them. I have had these Ugg slippers in my death pile forever because they had this spot on them and I just didn't take the time to clean them. Then I tried to clean them, the spot wouldn't come out, and so I decided to take my own advice and just list the flawed item, and these sold very quickly. Even, you know, with they're, you know, kind of worn, and they sold for $28 for full price. I had gotten these at the bins, so I paid around $1 for them. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $19.38. I know that UGG has made a new style of boots that is trendy again right now. So I don't know if someone's gonna wear these like actual shoes or just like slippers. The bottom seemed good enough to wear, you know, outside. Anyways, I am glad that I got these listed and that they sold, because I was tired of kind of looking at them and tripping on them. Okay, well, that is all my sales for the day. I think that's great because I last shipped on Saturday. So this is sales from Saturday afternoon, Sunday, and Monday, and I had one sale this morning. So don't go anywhere. I will be back with more entertainment for you. Oh, if you are enjoying my videos and you have not hit that subscribe button yet, please do so. It really helps me out. It tells YouTube that people are enjoying my videos and it encourages me. Also, if you could give this video a thumbs up and comment down below, both those things also really help me out. Okay, be right back. Hi again, it's Thursday and I don't have a ton of sales to ship out today, but I do have 3 items and one is a very high profit sale. So I'm super excited to share that with you. So I'll go ahead and do that right now. It is this vintage side table. Let's see if I can get that in closer. It has really gorgeous details, kind of Art Nouveau style. I would say that this isn't actually that old, probably from maybe the last 30 years or so, but it really has that beautiful look to it and great details. I listed this on Cherish for $489. It sold for $440. On Cherish, you can offer a 10% off discount to the trade, which is to interior designers and architects and other dealers, and they automatically get that discount, and it shows if they have a trade account, they have to sign up and be approved with Cherish to get a trade account. It automatically shows that you offer that discount. And it's just kind of a courtesy to extend to members of that community, and I think it can help sales, excuse me. So that sold for $440. I did have a $30 packaging fee, which is in addition to the shipping fee that the buyer pays both. So my total sales price was $470. I paid $9 for that at a thrift store. I'm so excited. This thrift store actually had that out for display only. It's a cute little charity shop, and a lot of times they'll get things in and they'll keep them for display only, and then they'll eventually put them for sale. When I saw this finally go for sale, I grabbed it right up. Cherish charges the 22% seller's commission. That fee is only on the sales price. They don't charge the 22% on that packaging fee. So after their fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $364.20. I am so excited. That took a few months to sell, maybe 2 or 3 months, so really not a long time. Okay. Then the next items sold on Poshmark, and the first item is this cute Coach purse. It can be worn as like a belt bag, or you can take this out and attach it to these little rings and wear it as a crossbody bag. This was an impulse purchase. I saw this person list this bag for $20. And I did a quick Google image search and saw that some of this style has some really great comps. So I clicked buy right away, and this style does have some great comps. However, there are 2 different sizes of this bag, and the larger ones sell for over $100. And this smallish one sells for less. So I didn't end up making quite the profit that I initially thought I would, but this sold for $55. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $14. Not a home run, but it sold quite quickly. I ordered this like 2 weeks ago and took my own photos. The seller's photos were very dark, and she only had a couple with no measurements or any other really details. So there is opportunity to, buy from other sellers to resell for a profit. Like I said, this one didn't turn out to be a huge profit, but I definitely have done that occasionally in the past when I saw a good deal on Poshmark. And it's kind of up to you if you want to do that or not. Some people might get a bad taste in their mouth, if they see you resell an item. But if a buyer lists an item for a certain price and you buy it for their price, I think it's no harm, no foul. That was their decision to list it for that price. Okay, so the next item that sold is this somewhat vintage Ralph Lauren hand knit sweater. Now you want to keep your eyes out for these hand knit sweaters by this is Ralph Lauren, and it will specifically say hand knit. So this one says exclusively hand knit. And if you look at the Ralph Lauren website at their hand knit items, currently they are outrageously priced. So certain styles, of course, sell for more. This one sold for $69, but I had some kind of Aztec tribal print ones that had lots of moth holes with poor repair jobs. And I think I sold one of those for like $250. So like the longer kind of duster style sweaters, those are like, I think they're like $600 to $1,200 new. So people will definitely pay up. This one did take longer to sell. I think it's just because it had this snowflake pattern rather than, you know, kind of a more desirable pattern. But I was, you know, I knew that it would eventually sell, and this sold for full price. I had paid $6 for this. So after posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $49.20. I think that is really a wonderful profit, even though it took a little bit of time to sell. So something like that, I'm certainly happy to wait a little bit to get a little bit higher profit. So like I said, it is Thursday, and I'm hoping that I have some more sales and I will be back on Saturday. I went to the Goodwill yesterday. So today's the 28th, December 28th. Yesterday was the 27th, and they had so much good stuff. So this will come out a couple weeks later, but I think this is a really great time to thrift the end of the year and the first of the year, because people are donating things, getting rid of stuff because they got new stuff for Christmas. And I just always find this to be a really great time of year to stock up and thrift. So I suggest that you get out and check out your thrift stores. Also, the Goodwill, I noticed that their pricing can be cyclical. So it seems like if they have an influx of donation, sometimes their prices will go down. And I haven't exactly figured out, you know, what the cycle is, but sometimes the prices will be sky high and sometimes they'll be really reasonable. So don't give up if you see that your Goodwill is pricing certain things high. Keep checking at least weekly, and you're sure to find some things that they missed. I always seem to. I hope you can too. Okay, don't go anywhere. I will be back with some more sold items to share with you. Hey again, it's Friday, and I was gonna wait till tomorrow to ship out, but I had a few things that I want to get shipped UPS because Monday is New Year's Day and it's a holiday, and so I wanted to get these out before that long holiday weekend. The first item that sold is this set of vintage champagne coupe glasses. There was a set of 10 of these, and there was various colors: blue, green, smoke, kind of an orangey yellow color, and then these two colors. I picked these up at a Goodwill when I was on vacation, and they were only $2 a piece. So I ended up paying $20 for the set of 10. I had these listed for $229 for the set, plus a $15 packaging fee, and they sold for full price for $244. I'm so excited. So after Cherish's fee and my cost of goods, that made my profit $173.26. I'm thrilled. These took a little while to sell, a good maybe 4 to 6 months, but as I always say, I'm okay waiting for the right buyer if they're gonna pay a high price. So I'll get these packaged up off camera. And then the next sale was on Poshmark, and it is this pair of Dansko clogs with some embroidery on them. I've kind of become a little more particular with Dansko. It doesn't sell for as much as it used to for me, but when I can get them for a good price, I will definitely pick them up. These, for some reason, my Goodwill missed, and they only had them priced at $5. They sold for $45 on offer, and they hadn't been listed terribly long, and they were in excellent condition, so maybe I could have gotten a little bit more. But for an item that is readily available and not necessarily a vintage item, I'm more motivated to you know, accept offers and move it in and move it out. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $31. I think that's great. Not going to complain about that at all. And then the next item that sold is the semi-vintage pearl and red bead rhinestone necklace. This is just a costume jewelry piece, maybe from the 80s or 90s. I picked this up in a lot of other items. I probably would not have purchased this on its own, but it ended up selling for $18. My average price, or my average cost of goods per item for that bundle or lot was $1. So there was lots of room to make profit even if the items didn't sell for a high amount. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $13.40. This also took a bit to sell, maybe in the 6-month range. After I listed it, it had been in my money pile for quite some time, and I had my brother-in-law come take some pictures for me of lower dollar items, because he was in between jobs and needed some extra cash, and I needed help, you know, photographing the items that I'm not motivated to photograph. So it works well for both of us. That's kind of the only way that I like to hire people right now, is just as like casual labor here and there, not as like a set employee. I'm just not up for doing all of the things that need to be done to have a real employee. Plus, yeah, I just don't know if I want to be responsible for paying someone else. It's hard enough to be responsible for paying myself as it is. But kudos to the people who can do that. One thing that I've been wanting to mention is that if you watch resellers and you see them having these huge sales, great for them. This is no digs at them, but I just want you to be sure that you compare apples to apples. So some of these resellers that are selling, you know, 6 figures a year, they have employees working for them. And so they may end up, you know, netting the same amount as you do without any employees. So it's just how you want to run your business and what volume you want to do. I'm just not cut out or organized enough to have employees at this time. If you are, that is great. The next item that sold is this fun kind of semi-vintage teal colored anorak jacket. It is by Chairish, and I didn't pick this up for the brand name. I just picked it up because I liked the, you know, kind of retro style to it. I liked this teal color, and it kind of almost had an iridescent quality to the fabric. It didn't end up being that amazing of a pickup, but it sold for $28. I had paid $4 for it. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $18.40. I had better luck with this style in the past, but maybe the trend is kind of dying. If you've been watching my videos, you do see that you have to keep up on what is trendy, because, you know, some items that you sold last year or 6 months ago for, you know, $80 may only be selling for $20 or $30 now. It's just the way trends work. Anyways, I am happy that this is moving out, and hopefully the buyer enjoys it. I do think that I'm going to ship again tomorrow if I have more sales. If I don't have sales, T-Bird will make an appearance. Maybe I'll try and get her to make an appearance either way, but I will see you soon. Don't go anywhere. It's Saturday and I have 4 more things to ship out. This week turned out to be one of my best weeks in a really long time, and it is the week after Christmas. So everybody talks about, you know, fourth quarter, which this is still fourth quarter, but you know, leading up to Christmas, but almost always the week after, and January and February are amazing sales times for me. So I will try and get this listed, or this uploaded as soon as possible. Keep listing for first quarter. Don't let up, because there are people spending money. Okay, so the first 2 sales sold on Cherish, and the first one is this set of vintage pine tree kind of wall art. They just have a little staple there to hold them up. I don't know if these were hand carved like a project, or if they were purchased like this. These ended up selling for $90 plus a $12 packaging fee. I had paid $4 for these at an estate sale. So after Cherish's fee and my cost of goods, that made my profit $78.20. I picked these up just because I thought they had a mid-century vibe. I also thought they were in the style of Witco, which is W-I-T-C-O. You should look that brand up, because some of their pieces can be very, very desirable and high priced. So that was a really great sale on Cherish. I did have these listed for, I think, $129, and the buyer offered me the $90 plus the $12 packaging fee. I thought that was fair. They are cool, interesting pieces. Let's see, the next item is another pillow. For those of you guys who have been following along on my resale journey, you've seen that I have done really well with these vintage pillows, particularly the ones made from this silk type fabric. And this ended up selling for $129 plus a $5 packaging fee. I am just thrilled. Let's see, I'm gonna wait to package this up off camera. I paid only $3 for that pillow at an estate sale. And you know, that's something that's often overlooked at estate sales. And to be honest with you, until the last couple of years, I was just picking them up for fun to use for decorating, not realizing how high of values that some of these throw pillows could have. So keep your eyes out when you're at yard sales and estate sales, because you know, people typically will price these pillows really inexpensively. So after Cherish's fee and my cost of goods, that made my profit $102.62. Who would think that pillows would sell for that amount and that you could get that kind of profit? Okay, so the next item sold on Poshmark, and this is interesting. This sold quite quickly, and I almost didn't pick it up just because it's kind of, I don't know what to say. It's kind of simple, boring. Maybe not exactly. Also, it was this Harvey Bernard, pardon my French, as they say. And you see this brand a lot, and I don't think of it as something with a really high resale value, which this didn't sell for a super high amount. It sold for $39. I did pick it up because it was 100% Shetland wool, and also because it didn't have a size, but it seemed to measure out as actually it looks like I need to lint roll this before I package it up. But it seemed to measure out as a large to extra large, which I thought was a good size. And at first I couldn't tell if it was men's or women's, but I looked at what side the buttons were on, which thank you everyone who commented in one of my recent videos, letting me know how to tell if a item is men's or women's based on what side the buttons are. And I knew that, but I totally spaced it and forgot. Sometimes that happens to me, so thank you so much for reminding me so that I don't have to, so I can take the guesswork out of it. This was also only $4, so that was the other reason I picked it up. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $25.18. I did kind of price that on the lower end because I have a lot of coats and I want to move some of my coats out before winter is over, so I'm glad that sold quickly for full price. Okay, the next item I don't have here with me. I forgot that I have it. I was storing it at home because it's a fur, and I've had it for a long time, and I don't have air conditioning that's going 24 hours in this building, and you shouldn't keep real fur coats in warm climates or environments because it dries out the fur and it ruins it. So I have it at home. I forgot, but I needed to get this video filmed. I will insert a picture of it here if I can figure out how to do it, or at the end of the video if I can't figure out how to do it over this part of the video. It sold for $125. I paid $10, so after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $90. I'm super happy with that. Like I said, this turned out to be one of my best weeks in a long time. My total sales were $2,427 the week after Christmas. I'm so thrilled with that. And even better, my total cost of goods to sell that amount was $151. That is an amazing return on investment. And my total profit after fees and any shipping discounts and my cost of goods was $1,777.48. That is close to double my weekly $1,000 profit goal. I love this time of year. It's just so much easier to be motivated to list and be productive when you have lots of sales. I don't know if that's how you guys are. Sometimes I get down in the dumps if I have slow sales, but if I have high sales, I'm like, yes, let's make more money. So happy New Year to everyone. I think this will come out after New Year's, or I know it will for sure, but I hope you guys all are heading into 2024 with a positive outlook, looking forward to having a successful and happy year, however that looks for you. If that means slowing down and maybe working less, that's great. If it means speeding up and working more and, trying to increase sales, that is also great. There are no rules in life. I make a lot less money than I used to, but I am a lot happier than I used to be. I'm a lot healthier than I used to be too. So there's something to be said for working at a not super stressful pace and doing something that you love in life. So happy New Year to all of you. Thank you so much for all your kindness and support that you showed me in 2023. It has just blown me away. I just can't believe how kind and helpful everyone has been to me. So cheers, and I will see you guys next week.